After 3 years of false starts, shattered dreams, wasted dollars, and cancellations, Star Trek the Motion Picture finally became a reality in 1979, grossing millions and millions at the box office. My last count was over 40 million. It reunited the cast of the TV series for the first time in almost 10 years, bringing joy to Trekkies and lovers of science fiction everywhere. But there were critics, even fans, who felt the film was too slow and needed more action. Leonard, after all the heartache and waiting, was the final product something you were personally proud of?
I thought the film was very well made, John. In terms of what is actually on the screen, I mean, technically, there's a great deal of very fine work went into the technical work and putting the film together, and a lot of very careful and precise set design work and so forth. I personally have a little bit of a different kind of taste when it comes to Star Trek stories. Through the years, people have asked me which were my favorites of the Star Trek episodes, and I tend to think back on those that most involved the characters rather than the hardware. And if this particular film, Star Trek the Motion Picture, were considered as one of the 79 or 80 episodes that we did, I would say that there were others that I would have preferred. Maybe a little bit of a different style, a different approach to the use of the characters in the film.
I see. We were told a couple of weeks ago by a guest on the show who was associated with the William Shatner fan club that Gene Roddenberry was re-editing the film for re-release. Do you know anything about that?
I have heard that, not officially. I have heard some comments about that being a possibility, that there was some editing work to be done, and that the film might be re-released later, I don't know, the summer run or maybe next year or whatever, in a slightly different form. I haven't heard anything official about it.
Everybody is asking me, because when you host a show called Creature Features, they all assume that you're the first to know. They all say, is there going to be a Star Trek sequel? I'm going to pass the buck tonight to you, Leonard. Is there going to be a Star Trek sequel?
I really don't know. I don't have any official answer to that either. I bumped into Walter Koenig, who plays Chekhov, about a week ago in the Midwest. I was doing Vincent, and he was traveling, talking about he has a new book out about his Star Trek experiences. And he told me that he had heard from Gene that there was some fairly strong possibility developing that there would be a sequel motion picture. But again, I don't have anything official from the studio. Nobody's contacted me and said we are going to do it or whatever.
How much longer are you contractually tied up with the Guthrie Theater to do the Vincent show?
Well, this particular tour is another 4 weeks. I'll be finished around the 1st of May, and then we are now in the process of setting some dates for the fall. Possibly another 4 to 6 week tour in the fall.
Mm-hmm. When the cast was reunited to do the motion picture, did everything sort of just fall into place again? Was it like you're back on the Enterprise?
It did for me. I was very comfortable with the cast and my place in the show immediately. It really felt very quickly as though we had never stopped. Almost as though the intervening years had not happened, that we had just gone on doing Star Trek all that time. And I felt very quickly very much at home.
Well, that's very nice. I want to remind the fans that Leonard Nimoy is now in the Bay Area in his new one-man show, Vincent, the Story of a Hero. It's the story of Vincent Van Gogh, in which you play Theo Van Gogh, not Vincent, but Theo, after Vincent's death, so that Theo has a chance to express all of his feelings and emotion about his great brother, one of the great Dutch Impressionistic painters from the last century. And he'll be at the Veterans War Memorial Building or the Herbst Theater, whichever you want to call it, now through April 13th. I think it's his tour de force, and I think you should go see it. And it's really a remarkable show that you've done to
Thank you.
Throw yourself into such a wide range of emotions.
Thank you.
We're going to come back, and Leonard's going to talk about the future of Star Trek and the future of Leonard Nimoy. So let's go back now to the menagerie. Well, Leonard, that closes the book on the menagerie, but an evening of Star Trek is not over yet.
Indeed. In just a few moments, we'll be revealing amazing secrets about the future of Star Trek, Mr. Spock, and Leonard Nimoy. Don't go away. Don't go away.
Well, it's been a remarkable evening for me, the two-part episode, The Menagerie, and Mr. Spock himself. What more could you ask for an evening of Star Trek? Leonard, I was really curious to know, what is your future as an actor? Where are you going from here?
It's hard to say, John. I'm enjoying playing Vincent very much. It will come to an end eventually. I've had a number of people have contacted me about the possibility of doing a show about Edgar Allan Poe.
Wow.
And on this tour, one of the places that we will be playing soon is Philadelphia, where Poe lived for a while and did some of his writing. I plan to do some research on the subject while I'm there. We definitely are going to do a 5th season of In Search Of, which has been very successful for us, and I enjoyed doing that show very much, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm always looking for a good movie or television script, so if you find something for me, let me know, will you?
Well, you can always be a guest on Star Trek again. I mean, Creature Features.
Right.
Yeah. What about the future of Star Trek? Not specifically what's going to happen to the series, but where do you see it taking everybody who was involved right now?
I would be very much surprised if there wasn't some future production of Star Trek, and I don't really know what form that'll take, but my feeling is that the box office response to the movie has been so good that the studio would be very likely to pursue something again for the future of Star Trek, either another motion picture or a television series. It's impossible to tell right now. But as I say, I would be very much surprised if they weren't thinking right now about something for the future of Star Trek.
Are there things with the Spock character that you would like to do that are new and fresh that haven't been done before?
I don't know. I'd like to talk to some good writers about that. You know, I think I have a pretty good feeling about where Spock was during the series and where Spock moved into, the area Spock moved into during the motion picture. I do have some other ideas. In fact, I have written some material about possible Spock ideas for other usage of the character, but I'd like an opportunity to sit and discuss it with Gene and some writers and see what we could come up with. I think there are a lot of possible ways of using the character that haven't been touched yet.
Yeah, you were starting to explore some avenues in the new film, and then it sort of seemed to get lost.
Yeah, not used as much as I would have liked to have seen.
In terms of being an artist or an actor, however you want to phrase it, what areas of endeavor have you yet to fulfill?
I haven't done as much directing as I should. And I think possibly in the next year or two I might start moving more into that area.
Have you directed for television?
I've done a little bit. I did one of the most enjoyable experiences I ever had was directing an episode of Night Gallery several years ago at Universal Studios with Leslie Warren as a vampire lady. Lovely story. It was a real love story told in vampire terms. I had a great time directing it, and I'd like to do more of that kind of thing.
I hope this doesn't sound like too pretentious a question, but how would you like to be remembered by your fans?
Oh, golly. You know, I'll tell you what I think is the most important thing in my relationship with followers and fans. I think that you do an honest piece of work for them, that if they take the time and spend the money to see you work, that they're entitled to an honest piece of work and an honest effort to entertain them. And I take that very seriously. I try whenever I work to see to it that there's good entertainment value in the work that I do.
Well, I can vouch for your performance in Vincent, Story of a Hero, and that will continue at the Herbst Theater, which is the War Memorial Building at Van Ness and McAllister in downtown San Francisco, through April 13th. I know a lot of Star Trek fans are buying out those tickets by the lot, so hurry up and get those tickets. Leonard, I want to thank you for being on an evening of Star Trek and sharing some of your thoughts with me, and also taking another look at The Menagerie, a good two-part episode from the series of 1966.
Very good.
So I guess we'll see you in Star Trek, the motion picture #2.
Okay, John.
Okay, thanks a million.
Thank you very much.
Good.